doesn't need me. That's fine. Hello and welcome to Attach Pass. My name is Ben. This is Beth.
Hi, Ben.
Welcome to our mid-table podcast by mid-table players. We are here today for episode number 3, which is quite exciting.
Very exciting.
Episode 2 was really well received, so we appreciate you guys for that. It took me ages to edit it, and I was just sort of reminiscing about how long it took me to edit and how long it took me to render with Beth before we started this episode. So hopefully, and I've found better ways to do things, and now those better ways are going to happen. So yeah, we're recording this on the Monday, obviously, as we do. We record every Monday, except we won't be able to when I go to Utrecht, but we'll talk about that later on. And I edit it on the Tuesday and get it out on the Wednesday, so Utrecht's going to be fun because I'm going to have to, ask Beth to come in Tuesday if she wants to. And we'll talk about that later. You usually go to bed early on a Tuesday, so I don't know. Maybe I can borrow you for an hour. Anyway, hello and welcome to this week's podcast. Beth, what are we talking about today?
So this week we have got the Dortmund review to begin us off and review what happened this week in Dortmund and the drama that went down there in the finals. We are then going to try and sell each other some off-meta cards in Hear Me Out.
Right. The name of the feature was my fault. I'm so sorry to make you say that. But the idea, yeah. We'll cover that. But
we'll explain that.
Hear Me Out, right? And then what's next?
We're going to cover your Utrecht prep and how you are getting ready to go and take down this latest special event.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything down, am I? I'm going to give it a go.
You'll give it a go.
I'm going to give it my best attempt. But yeah, we'll kick off with that. But I guess before we start those things, Beth, have you done any Pokemon this week apart from our weekly thing?
No, I've not done any Pokemon this weekend. It's been a relaxing week for me.
Yep. Yeah, it's been not relaxing for myself, but I also didn't know Pokemon, which was kind of a shame, to be honest with you, because I really like Pokemon. But we did, and you might be able to see probably on the wide shot better than the close-up shot, change some of the things behind me. So I've now got the big cards. There's a Shampoo, I've got the Vulpix just behind me, and there is a Lugia off screen. You can't see it. And hiding just down here is a Tinglu. You can kind of see his name tag on camera. But, yeah. Tinglu there at the back.
With his little bucket head.
He's got... Right. It is... Right, I'm going to put a picture of Tinglu up on the screen right now, and you can't tell me that this thing... Is it this side? Is it this side? No, it's this side. I'm on this side. No? No, it is this side. This thing... I'm not cutting any of this, by the way. This thing has got a massive bucket on its head. You know those games we'll get onto Pokemon in a second. You know the games as a children
where you had to catch the ball in the cup.
Yep. I could just imagine putting a beach ball inside Tinglu's head and just lifting it up. and just watching it go. Yeah.
That would be an impressive feat with how heavy he is.
Yeah, I know. Look at him, he's a beast. Oh, look at that. That's incredible. It's a shame it's not a great card. Anyway, I mean it's good, but it's not great. Oh, wait, hang on. You persuading me Tinglu's good later?
I am not persuading you Tinglu's good.
Okay. We have to, right, so we'll do that later.
We'll do that later.
Dortmund! Let's talk about Dortmund. This happened this weekend.
It did happen this weekend.
We had predictions for last... I think we should just start off with it.
Yeah, start off with our predictions.
So our predictions last week, we had... we both decided on our most represented deck.
Which I got right.
Throughout day one. Which was...
I said that Zard would be the highest represented deck, which it was, and you said Tina.
Yes.
I think the turnaround time was the reason why we didn't see more representation from Tina in day one. Mm-hmm. Which, it seems like Dortmund agreed with me, thankfully.
Yeah, I actually haven't got the stats for day one, day two open. They're on Twitter somewhere, aren't they?
So, I've got them. I've got what Pokéstops is saying.
Oh, here. They're on the screen. They're not at the moment. We can't see them, but... Just imagine them on the screen if you're watching. So I think Pokemon TCG tweeted them out, right?
Yeah.
Did they tweet them out? Yeah, so we've got the stats here for Dortmund, and we've got our day one representation. Because that was what the bet was about.
Yes,
it was day one.
Day one.
And it was put on the stream. So here we have on screen now the day one deck analysis. Now, I tip my cap and say congratulations, Beth, you were right. Yep. Zard does take 16% of the day one meta.
It did. It had 220 decks.
Which is kind of a lot, right?
It's a lot. considering there was 1,364 players that turned up.
46, but yeah,
46.
close enough. To be fair, there are a lot of numbers on this screen
Yes,
that you guys are also looking at here. So there's Charizard with 16%. Tina wasn't far behind.
But Tina hasn't been far behind for a lot of the last few regionals.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been those two as top two.
Yep.
And I think last weekend's turnaround this weekend is why we did not see Tina take that top spot away from Charizard.
Yep.
There was too short of a turnaround for people to feel comfortable
Yep.
on Tina when they'd been testing Zard.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Zard is also, I guess, a lot of people are going to be looking forward to Temporal Forces and rotation.
Yep.
Zard, according to Japan anyway, has been the BDIF over there.
It has, but Tina has also been performing well.
Performing well, but it's not as consistent in the
No.
win spots as Zard is.
Tina has never been as consistent, though.
No. Tina is, and I've said this before,
You
and I
have.
don't know if I've said it on the podcast
You
before.
have said it on the podcast.
Okay, well, I'm going to say it again. Schrodinger's deck.
Yep.
Simultaneously the best and worst deck in format at the same time.
Yes.
Because if it breaks hard. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And people are trying to be able to make ways to
yeah.
make it more consistent.
Consistency has been up on Zard on Tina compared to its history recently, and I think that is why we have seen the recent performances that it's had, especially considering that the players that are having these results have got a lot of reps with Tina.
Yep.
So they're learning how to potentially get themselves out of a brick a bit more.
Yep.
Like we saw Brett Tonneson go from bricking on stream at Liverpool to just switching a few cards in his deck to make it that consistency just right to then go and win Melbourne the week after.
Yeah, putting those poke gear in was a massive good help for him. It enabled him to be able to search those extra 7 cards, basically looking at 8 cards a turn minimum for that Colress if you need it.
Yes.
It's kind of really nice. It's genuinely really nice to see, which is cool. Moon moving down to the 3rd spot makes sense.
Makes
It
a lot
was
of
very,
sense.
very popular. Still very, very popular. Something that has surprised me as a Guardy lover is Guardy up in 4th place.
Yeah, but Gardevoir, it's Europe. Gardevoir's always been a bit loved by Europe.
Yep.
It's always going to be a little bit higher than what we're seeing over in America.
Do you know what else has been loved by Europe?
Lost Box.
Oh, Mew.
Mew.
Where's Mew?
Mew was on best of the rest.
Yeah, Mew had 6% of all deck lists that were submitted. That's only 85. That's crazy.
That
Particularly after it coming off of Liverpool's win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it didn't necessarily do very well over Knoxville and Melbourne.
Knoxville and Melbourne didn't have a lot of representation for Mew, though. And again, I think that was off the back of Liverpool. People saw that and thought, I'll go for my second preferred deck.
Yep.
Because everyone's going to bring out the Spiritomb and the Drapion just to tech for it.
Yep.
And I think potentially how we thought that it would go up, I think the same thing's carried over, that they've assumed, okay, it wasn't the last one, everyone's going to tech for it, so we'll drop it and
Yep.
go to a different deck.
Yep.
Which we saw by one of our...
Yep. Ethan. I'm going to insert some sad overture music here and say you betrayed me. I put all of my faith in you and you betrayed me. No, you didn't. You wanted a break from you, and that's absolutely fine and fair, right?
Yeah, absolutely fair.
There's going to be raindrops on the screen. It's going to be great. Mew taking a hit.
Yeah.
So obviously you predicted Zard, I predicted Tina. Point
Yep.
to Beth. Ding.
Ding.
Then we go to our winners predict. Let's start with me, right? And then we'll move on to yours,
Yes.
and then we'll talk about the final. My God. So I loved the final. It was
Oh, the final was great.
incredible. We'll talk about that. So I predicted that Mew VMAX would win the event. Only because I thought everybody was going to tech for it for Dortmund and Melbourne.
For Melbourne and Knoxville.
Not Melbourne and Knoxville, sorry. And that nobody would then, it wouldn't show, it wouldn't represent, therefore it's safe to represent over here.
Yes.
Now, possibly with Eurotrek, that might be the case, because that's another EU tournament.
It is. It's the last big EU tournament before rotation as well. So we've got to consider
Oh no, I have to change my deck now. Sorry, go on.
everyone is going to be there with their Mews, their Rapid Boxes, their decks that are going to be rotating out that they loved, that they can no longer play again.
Yeah, I don't like that sound of that rapid box.
And I know Ben is horrified at the thought of facing Rapid Boxes in Utrecht,
Yeah.
which we will talk about later.
Yeah, I don't mind Mew. Anyway, so yeah, I thought Mew was going to take it out. I also thought Ethan was going to be the one to pilot that. Now, this goes to show how little I know about Ethan's deck choices before an event. Because Ethan didn't even take Mew to Dortmund. Ethan went with the Sablezard build.
But he took Mew to Liverpool, so it
Yes.
was a safe bet that he could have took it, because we both know how comfortable on Mew he is and how well he has done with Mew.
It's literally his pin tweet.
It literally is his pin tweet, because he won top 8. Well, he went into top 8 at Stuttgart with it.
Yeah.
So it is one of the decks what he can run very well. So I can understand 100% why Ben backed Ethan and Mew.
I had all the money, and it went all away. So yeah, mine didn't come to fruition.
No, but Mew got top 8.
Yeah, which I'll take. Right, Mew making top 8, absolutely fine. We'll talk about the top 8 in more detail later on.
Yep.
But your prediction for top 8 for winning the event was Lost Box single prize variant.
Yes.
How did that go?
Well, I got single prize Lost Box got a top 4.
Yeah.
It got a top 4 in a Sablezard with a Moon, so it wasn't exactly a pure single prize Lost Box, but it was as close to a single prize Lost Box in top 8 as we got, because the next best performing Lost Box that was basically single prize was 24th.
Yeah, because there is a Lost Box, an Ancient Box, a Paradox box over at 19th.
Yep.
But yeah, you're looking at 24th for that next best performing Lost Box. Just to point out, Dialga made 29th.
I saw
Dialga Box.
in a Lost Box.
Dialga Box in 29th. Oh, I love it. With the Zamazenta in there as well.
Yes. It was a very interesting deck, and I had to look again when I saw the guy tweeting that out. And
it's kind of cool. I kind of want to play it.
It would be an interesting deck to look at.
Yeah, we'll maybe do a breakdown of that at some point.
Yes.
But that's quite an interesting thing. So, I guess looking at our top 8 then.
Yes, looking at our top 8.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It was ridiculous that we had 3 Guardi.
Yes, 3 Gardevoir. We made up nearly 50%, and we also came in the bottom 3 places of the top 8.
A Mew.
Yep.
Sablezard.
Yep.
Tina.
And then
we get to our final 2, which is where the magic of the top 8 came.
Yeah, absolutely. This came out of nowhere. Well, I say nowhere, but finally we have seen Goldengo make a top 8 in a regional for a Western country.
Yes, and a Shen Pao finally took down its first regional.
Yeah, it was about time. I think it's only a sign of things to come after rotation, honestly. I think Chen Pao is going to be one of those decks that can stand up to Charizard really, really well. Mm-hmm. It's already got a low barrier on health. It doesn't really matter about the Charizard knocking you out. You know it's going to happen anyways. It does with nearly every other deck. You just got to be the one to take out those knockouts first.
Yes.
And it is also relatively easy for it to hit those numbers.
Oh, it's very easy to hit those numbers as long as you've got the tools that you need in your deck available to you and in your hand at the right point.
Yeah. But yeah, the final between our Goldengo and Bax Chen Pao.
Before we cover that, it's crazy to think that Shen Pao had 3 decks in day 2.
Was it only 3?
It was only 3, and the even crazier thing is that Goldengo came into unclassified.
Did it actually?
It actually did.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did. Oh, my Lord. That's... Oh! Okay, so we had... there were only 41 decks of Goldengo Palkia that turned up.
Yes.
There was only 57 of Chen Pao that turned up. And they had a good read on the meta.
They did,
Their matchups were good. They weren't unfavourable, but they also weren't overly favourable.
No, I'd say one of the worst matchups for them is the Entei Iron Valiant as a Goldengo player. Mm-hmm. Shen Pao has trouble into some of the other matchups that were there, such as Snorlax Stall. If you get your B-Barrel stuck in the active, you're having a fun time there.
Yep.
The rest of the meta isn't too bad for you. You can play that well if you get the right draw and the right swing of the deck.
Yep, when the cards are lined up correctly for you.
If the cards line up correctly, then you have basically 50-50 two slight favoured matchups.
Sorry, I've just seen that Italian VMAX had 3 decks in day 2.
Yep.
Iron Valiant Entei had 2 decks in day 2. Goldengo does, as you say, slip into the unclassified section of the stats. That's crazy.
The even crazier thing is there was an Iron Valiant Entei that bubbled out of top 8 into 9th.
That's I would have liked to have seen the Guardi swap.
I would have liked to see that swap and just see one Iron Valiant Entei in there.
Yeah.
It would have been very interesting. But I don't think at the end of Swiss that it would have been a Gardevoir that slipped. I think it was going to be the Goldengo or Palkia that slipped.
Oh, well, thank God it didn't, honestly. Do you imagine, though, if you literally just take positions 9 and 10 off this chart and swap it with 7 and 8, you have a completely 8 different decks in top 8. I mean, we're already at 6 different unique decks in top 8.
Mm-hmm.
That goes to show just how good this meta is in.
And 6 different decks were top 6.
Yeah.
It was 6th, 7th, and 8th that was the 3 repetitive decks from top 8.
Yep.
And it just shows how wide this meta currently is and how anything can go.
Yeah, and that doesn't even include your staples like Zard.
No.
Zard's not actually in there. Miraidon, Zard's highest placing was 12th.
Yeah, and Miraidon's highest placing was 11th.
Yeah, so Moon, Zard, Miraidon, 10th, 11th, 12th. Crazy.
The other crazy thing was that as soon as the stream match ended between Stein and Owen, it was going to be an all Dutch final.
Was it?
It was, because our top 3 placing players are all Dutch.
Yeah, of course. Wow. Look at the Dutch coming and taking it down, Dortmund.
Which, on stream, it was said that this is the first time we've had a Dutch player take down a regional since 2017. How crazy is that?
That's 7 years ago. That's mental. Absolutely mental.
Remember, 2 of those years we did not have regional plays, though.
Yep.
Because of COVID.
Yep.
So we had the cut down short year and no play in 2021 for that season. So basically 5 seasons worth of play with no Dutch taking down an international.
Nice to see that they finally come in.
International, a regional.
Nice to see they've finally done it though, which is awesome. Awesome to see. Now, should we run through the deck lists and then talk about the games?
Yes.
Can I do the shoestring?
I was going to say, do you want to take down Golden Go?
Here it is. Jelly's number 2, Jelly Van Kampen.
Yele.
Oh, sorry. I butchered names. I'm sorry if you're watching this, Yele. I'm really bad at language. Anyway, we've got 4 gamer goals made up of 3 with our continuous coin toss and 1 with the call for family, which is pretty standard because the 70 HP on the continuous coin toss and only 1 of the 50 HP is called for family.
It was always interesting seeing him actually rolling the dice with his continuous coin flip, which I don't think he hit any on stream.
He didn't hit a single head on stream, which is very sad. Fun fact, before I divulge into this list further, I once killed a Greninja using continuous coin toss. I got 7 heads in a row. I even swapped dice after the 3rd one. And they were like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, well, dead Greninja, I guess. It was great.
Dead Greninja.
Yeah, well, I couldn't find my Manaphy, so it was good that it died. And then we got 4 Goldengo EXs. Nice to be able to hit those numbers. Makes sense. Really, really good card. We've got a 1/1 line of the Palkia Origin form.
Standard.
We have seen a 2/2
sort
of come into play, only because it allows you to have that redundancy level. It is also a very good secondary attacker.
Oh, it's a great secondary attacker. Very easily to set up, especially with the V-Star power.
Yep.
Allowing you just to chuck 3 of those energy, what you've just discarded with your Make It Rain, back onto your Palkia, and it's easy there, ready to go.
Yep, and if not onto the Palkia, onto the Greninja, which is also a really, really good attacker in this deck. I think post-rotation, I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to Goldengo. I might even start playing it a lot more, because I love a Greninja deck. I love Greninja.
Yes, it's on my radar. Obviously, we will do a episode what is completely dedicated to rotation.
Yep.
After Ben is back from Utrecht. Since right now that needs to be his focus instead of looking ahead towards rotation. We don't need to be distracting you.
To be fair, I'm buying a house and buying flooring at the moment, so that's also taking some distraction. But yes, you are absolutely correct.
So once that's out of the way, we'll be focusing a lot more on rotation, but it's definitely a deck that's on my radar.
Yep. Then we see the Manaphy come into play.
Yes.
And then instead of a Jirachi, we got a Spiritomb, which kind of makes sense. So in a deck like Goldengo, where you are going from a basic to a stage 1 Pokemon, it's very quick to be able to get that HP back online.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about the Sableye necessarily knocking you out because your opponent isn't getting to 10 in the Lost Zone in turn 1. Most likely not getting into turn 2. Sometimes getting into turn 2. You'll be able to get the 10 in the Lost Zone. to then stabilize stuff down, so you know you've got 2 turns to set up.
Yeah, you've got 2 turns to basically take out their attackers.
Yep, which is pretty easily done because all you got to do is on turn 2, star portal into the 3 on the Greninja, and if they've not got a Manaphy down, dead on board, which is kind of cool. 10 energy in this deck, 6 water, 4 metal. It's kind of a nice spread. The reason for the 6 water is obviously we want to accelerate 3 of them at any one time, so we want to make sure they're in the bin. The Goldengo only ever takes 1 energy to attack.
Yes, you'd always attack. Typically, it's 1 metal energy you always attack.
Yep. It's got one metal energy to hit, and then when you discard X amount of energies, you do X times 50 amount of damage. So if you discard 3 energies, you do 150 damage. It's got that scalability, similar to Chien-Pao in the sense of discarding energy, except for Goldengo, it's from hand, so you don't need to accelerate it onto the board.
Nope.
And whereas Chien-Pao, it's from bench or active Pokemon, anywhere on the board, so you do need to accelerate it, but I'll let Beth talk about that. Into the trainer section, really, really like the trainers. First off, 3 worker, perfect. We want to bump those stadiums. We want to bump their Path to the Peaks. You need and require your coin bonus to be able to get the most value out of this deck possible, because your Goldengo draw is in your Greninja and in your Goldengos. That's it. That is the only draw power you've got. So you want to be able to use workers to draw 3 cards, get rid of the path, and then coin bonus to draw 2 more. So you've drawn 5 essentially off that 1 worker. We've got with 2 Avery for disruption, which is really, really nice.
Yes.
Makes your opponent have to choose. I love Avery. I really do. Tempted to try and fit one in Guardy for my version of it, but I just can't find that space at the moment. I don't want to drop the worker because I really like the worker.
Yeah, the sad thing is it will be rotating as well, so...
Avery will go bye-bye.
Yeah, so that's one disruption option that will be disappearing away for players, especially of Goldengo.
Yep.
But I'm sure we will get some nice future disruption that's coming that we don't know about.
Yeah, it'll be like choose 1 Pokemon, discard the rest, or some nonsense. We've got 2 Irida, which is fair. The 2 Irida allows you to find that superior energy retrieval when you need it, or that cross switcher when you need it. We'll get down to those bits in a second. Also lets you find that Palkia when you absolutely need it. That V-Star, it's an Ultra Ball for free, essentially, which is quite nice. A 1 of Roxanne, really, really nice to see. You know you're probably going to go 3 prizes down. You can then Roxanne them into 2, and you've got 6, and then you can just draw all the cards back, so you end up with like 12 in hand again. Really cool. 4 VIP to help you set up. 4 superior energy retrieval, which makes sense. 4 cross switcher, which is the only form of gusting effects in this deck. There's not even a 1 of counter catcher, which I'm hugely surprised at. 3 nest balls, 3 ultra balls, 3 earthen vessels, 1 energy retrieval, 1 cancelling clone to sync up with that Greninja. 1 super rod, 1 heavy ball, and 4 Pokéstops. There are 7 bumps in this deck. Heavy on items at 30, or trainers at 37. Only 7 of those are non-items, not including the stadiums. So, you're looking at 26 items in this deck, nearly 50%. Your Pokéstop should hit 2 on average out of the 3.
Should do, yes.
We'll talk about that after
We'll talk about that after we've covered my deck.
I really like this deck. I really, really do. I like the idea that you've got the Palkia. I like the fact that even hits, if they've both got full benches, that's hitting for 260 damage.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy and kind of cool. I like it. What are you thinking? Were you doing the maths?
No, I wasn't doing the maths. I was just thinking of how interesting that's going to be after rotation.
Yeah.
Considering that maximum belt will be coming in.
Yeah, so 260 goes up to 310. It now knocks out your Gardevoir. Yeah. God, I hate you, Palkia. No, it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of works after rotation. But in this current situation, it's really cool. It helps knock out the Chien-Pao. Yeah. It's pretty easy to be able to kill an Entei. Knock out an Entei because it's obviously water weakness. And 260 does a pretty damn good job of knocking stuff out.
I was going to say it helps a lot in the mirror too, because you're knocking out a Goldengo with that.
Yep, which is super nice.
To be honest, you're knocking out the vast majority of the 2 prizes at the moment, apart from a select number of V-Stars.
And most Stage 2, all Stage 2 EXs.
And all Stage 2 EXs.
Yeah, Stage 1 EXs, though, you're knocking out.
You're knocking out basic and Stage 1 EXs at that, so you have no issue into most of the meta, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. A 1-1 line, I think's a little thin.
It's thin, but...
When you look at it on the other side, what are we dropping for it?
Yeah.
Probably, personally, a worker and a Pokéstop. I don't think you need 7 bumps. But yeah, that's interesting.
I think after rotation, the work is going bye-bye anyways, so...
Well, it depends. You never know. So, well, certainly for the first tournament.
Yeah.
But for the next one...
We don't know what we're guessing.
The next set might have a peak to the path. It's just Path to the Peak printed upside down.
It will probably have... There will probably be something that will replace Path to the Peak coming. We just don't know what and when.
I can foresee it being similar to the Fluttermane's ability that's coming.
Yes.
It stops Pokemon in the active spot having an ability. And it'll be Pokemon in the active spot. It won't be EXs or rule boxes. I can imagine it targeting down that initial spot.
I know there's a few other other stadiums in the past that have targeted just rule boxes still, so we've got to wait and see how Pokemon decide to go with it.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see them target either the active or the bench, but not both at the same time. Could be cool to see.
Could be cool to see, but we'll have to wait and see what they decide to do.
The only reason I think about the active thing is because...
You've got Fluttermane already.
Fluttermane does a similar thing.
Yeah.
But Snorlax is an active-only ability.
Yep.
Gholdengo is an active-only ability.
Yep.
Not active-only, but it's active encouraged. Chien-Pao is active-only.
Yep.
What else have we got that's active? There is other stuff that is, when this Pokemon is in your active spot, do a thing.
Comfy.
Comfies. Cramorants. Turns off Cram.
It does turn off Cram.
The reason I think it might target the active is because there is so much of that in the meta at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
They might have done it, or might print something like that. I'm not saying they will. Might print something like that to be able to be like, now play around this.
I think Fluttermane's enough anyways, though, because it just targets the active, and we're losing Escape Rope, so you're having to find a gusting effect to be able to get it out of the active.
Yeah, or a Cancelling Cologne.
Because
that's around for another rotation, baby.
Oh, yes, it is.
And I think Cancelling Cologne is going to be pretty solid. You never know.
Oh, yes. I think Cancelling Cologne is going to be a card that gets an increased use after rotation.
Yeah. And you were saying about gusting effects. You have got Prime Catcher and stuff coming. But anyway, that was deck number 2, or second place deck. Yes. Unfortunately, I would have loved the Cheestring to have taken down its first regional. Over to yourself.
So the first place was a Chien-Pao Baxcalibur, and it's a pretty standard list of vert Pokemon with 3 Chien-Pao, 3 Frigibacks, 2 being the 60 HP one with 1 retreat cost and 1 being the 70, which is pretty standard at this point.
However, sorry, just to interject, Owen did comment on his Twitter. Why did nobody tell me there was a better Frigibax?
Oh, yes, I saw this.
Because Paldea and Fates released a Frigibax with a 1 Water Energy, 70 HP, collect, draw a card.
Yes, that would have been a nicer 70 HP Frigibax to be playing.
Yeah.
But he wasn't aware of it at the time.
It's still done a regional. Anyway, sorry, as you were. Baxcaliburs.
2 Baxcaliburs, pretty standard. 2 Bidoof, 2 Barrel, which is great draw engines. You always want to be drawing into more cards to try and maximise either your energy retrievals or your energy searching cards. A Greninja and an Iron Hands, which is pretty nice for when you're taking down a Lost Box.
Yeah, the super cool on the Baxcalibur is you can accelerate water energy to any one of your Pokemon.
Yes, it doesn't have to be a water Pokemon.
Yeah, which I think is interesting. An interesting choice to write on the card. But it does open up the opportunity for Iron Hands. You can search out that lightning and go from there.
It doesn't just open that. It opens up the opportunity that can be used as a acceleration engine in a different deck going forward, because we don't know what we could be seeing in the future that needs an acceleration engine like that.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. Baxcalibur, Frigibax, Irida, and Rare Candy, I think, are going to be...
especially since we've got Irida for another year.
I know, it's crazy. One of the things that we sometimes do see is only 2 Chien-Pao in a deck rather than 3. And
I think the 3 is nicer, but he isn't running a Manaphy.
Which did and could have lost him the final.
It could have lost him the final, especially when his Baxcaliburs liked going to the bin.
Let's get through the rest of the list, and then we'll talk about the Pokestop of 2024.
So, for his trainers, he's running 37, which is a pretty standard count. 4 Irida, 1 Iono, and that's it for his supporters.
Interesting.
4 Battle VIP Pass, 4 Cross Switches, which are his only gusting effects.
Yep.
Again, pretty standard that most lists are only running cross switches, but I would like to see some counter-catcher play in there just for when you do fall behind as a Chien-Pao player.
Yep.
4 Superior Energy Retrieval, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Nest, 3 Rare Candy, 2 Super Rod, 2 Earthen Vessel, 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball. And then, like his Dutch friend,
His counterpart,
he was only running Pokéstops. So that meant in our final, we only ever saw Pokéstops in play, and there was
8.
no bumps for that.
There was 8 Pokéstops in the final,
Basically,
and only 3 worker to get rid of them.
But if he didn't play his worker, that meant there was 7 redundant cards across the 2 decks.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess Pokestop helps being a bump, particularly in this deck, because there isn't any other bumps. I would have liked to have seen a Nest Ball drop to make room for that counter catcher, honestly.
Yes.
I think that 1 counter catcher is good. I know you don't want to be behind in Chien-Pao, but sometimes you might need to use the Iron Hands or the Greninja to take a 2-price turn where there is only a 1 available.
Especially when you're running into Goldengo.
Yep.
You can easily counter catcher up their Palkia. You have
3-price turn.
You have your Iron Hands all set up, and you can get a 3-prize turn.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. A 3-price turn is kind of mental, isn't it?
It's kind of crazy to think that from after EUIC, because currently we don't have a lot of competitive VMAXs, unless any that are still legal become more competitive, which I'm not going to say if they will or won't, because we don't know.
Yep.
That is the only way that you're taking a 3-prize turn currently.
Yeah, kind of crazy, isn't it?
Which is crazy to think. To finish off the list, though, we had 9 Energy, 8 Water, 1 Lightning, which pretty standard when you're running a Iron Hands. You always need the 1 Lightning just to be able to power up the Iron Hands attack to amp you very much.
Again, sometimes we see 2 Lightning being play there rather than just the 1.
But I think the reason he decided to go for just the 1 was to try and maximise his trainer line to be able to maximise the Pokéstops that he was using.
Yeah. Which
didn't always work to plan.
No. So, here we are, the namesake of the episode. Owen's obviously using Pokestop to be able to find items out of his deck, right? The way Pokestop works, it'll be on the screen, is once during each player's turn, that player may discard the top 3 cards of their deck. If any cards discarded this way are an item card, they can put those items into their hand. So, with such an item-rich trainer line...
For both players,
they're both using those Pokestops to be able to try and basically draw extra cards in that turn. And for Chien-Pao and for Goldengo, they don't care about the energy going in the bin because they can recover it. And they're both also running those rods to be able to recover a Pokemon. Realistically, the only thing they don't want to see going in there is the Iridas, the Ionos, the Workers, the Averys, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because they haven't got any recovery for those. But
yep.
Thankfully, we didn't see too many supporters ending up in the bin.
No, but what we did see a lot of, I think we ended up seeing 3 or 4 in total over 3 games.
There was at least 3 to my count. There potentially was 4 and 1 I missed. Of Owen's Baxcaliburs ending up in his discard pile after he decided to Pokestop.
Now, Baxcalibur, for those of you that aren't aware or are listening at home or whatever, is a absolutely crucial, and honestly the thing that makes the deck work, along with the Chien-Pao in the Chien-Pao decks. So when you're getting rid of those with Pokestop, it kind of really hurts.
Especially when you need to get your Baxcaliburs up and running turn 2.
Yeah. You absolutely have to Iridate. Most Iridas used in a Chien-Pao deck are to find a Rare Candy and a Baxcalibur, and then you can just evolve it straight away over the Frigibax, and you can play the game as you want to play it.
Unfortunately for Owen, in Game 2, he'd already Pokestopped away 1 in his first turn.
Yep.
And instead of Iridating to get his Baxcalibur, his only other Baxcalibur in the deck safe
first, before doing anything else.
Before doing his Pokestop, he didn't. He Pokestopped. And got rid of his second Baxcalibur of that game.
Honestly, those little water dinosaurs absolutely love the bin. They were just like, I don't want to play this game. That cheese string is scary. They both loved being in that game. That game. Also, Game 3, he whiffed finding a Baxcalibur.
He did, yeah.
And Yele had every opportunity. All he needed to do was find the V-Star from the Origin form Palkia to be able to V-Star, accelerate the 3 water energy onto the Greninja, and because there's no Manaphy in Owen's deck, and 2 Frigibax, I think it was 2 Frigibax, a Chien-Pao, and 2 Bidoof that were on the bench at the time.
Yes, because in this game he had prized 2 of his Bibarrels.
Yeah. So it was just an opportunity for him to go, for Yella to go, you know what? Greninja, both Frigibacks, good game. Because at that point, it would have been so difficult for Owen to come back.
It would have been nearly impossible for him to come back because he would have needed 2 turns to be able to set up a Baxcalibur.
Yeah.
He would have needed to be able to find another Frigibax out of his deck, which he did have a third one in there, but he would have had to go searching for his third Baxcalibur. Frigibax, to then set up a Baxcalibur.
Yep.
That would have put him so far behind that it basically would have handed the win to Yellow.
Yeah, and if the cross switches had anything to say about it, you would have just cross switched it up the Frigibacks every time you put it down, and then you knock it out. So at that point, you just manually attach it to a Chien-Pao, and you might take a 2-prize knockout. You might kill the Greninja, sure, but it's not going to matter because you're going to be able to use the Goldengo to make it rain, and just be able to just knock anything out in the active.
He was just going to get rid of everything and anything that Owen put up. Fortunately for Owen, he was not able to find the V-Star, so he was able to save himself for a few turns. And just had his little babies taken away from him and his Bidoof and his one of his Frigibaxes when he was eventually be able to find
Yeah. The problem was the one turn that Owen missed finding that Baxcalibur was Yellow's opportunity to win the game.
Yes.
It genuinely was. And unfortunately, due to some sequencing stuff or not Ultra Balling for the right thing or this or that or the other, it just didn't work out. And then that gave Owen an opportunity to find those Baxcaliburs and actually just put himself in quite a winning position. It was a close game
It
still,
was
though.
a very close game, and this was not a final that I expected at this point. I expected this sort of final to be coming to us after rotation when these decks seemed to be developing a much stronger place in the meta and potentially are going to have a lot higher representation as well because these are decks that players are going to be a lot more comfortable on compared to some of the newer meta cards that are coming in.
Yep.
So it's a very interesting final, a very rogue final, I'd say, especially considering the meta breakdown and the meta game.
Yep.
Overall, top 8 was a very representative of the day, bar having the Chien-Pao and the Goldengo in, but having some slightly lower meta cards in there was nice to see, especially when they're piloted by such strong players, as you could tell by that final, which, if you have not watched, I would strongly recommend watching because it shows some amazing Pokemon play by 2 amazing players who've clearly been on the circuit for quite a while.
Yeah, it was really, really good to see. It was genuinely a really, really nice final. Even Kitty, my partner, she sat and watched it with me and enjoyed it. And we both sat and watched the telly, and she was getting excited and I was getting excited, and it was like and the neighbours must have been like, what on earth is going on next door? Because we were like cheering and laughing and like, oh no, and come on G-string and all sorts of stuff. It was just a really, really nice end to the tournament. I think it was quite poetic in terms of these 2 decks that had fought their way through all of the meta. They'd fought their way through the Zards and the Lost Boxers and the Giratinas and that sort of stuff. And whether they played against them or not, they still managed to wade through the crowd of all these meta decks and then be able to show up in that final, pitted against each other. It was nice to see something that wasn't, your standard typical Charizard, Lost Box, Mew, Giratina in the final. It was a good break. We've had that for weeks on weeks on weeks now, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's boring. It's just nice to see something different.
I will say in day 2, Owen ran the gauntlet having to get through Giratina's, Gardevoir's, Zards, and Mew to be able to even reach the final.
Yeah, the gauntlet was pretty hard for Owen making his way through that, but he proved as the regional champion of Dortmund for 2024 that he absolutely could do it, deserved it, and he punched his ticket to Honolulu later this year, and that is damn exciting for him.
It definitely does mean he's also got one up on his brother, though. Even though Brennan is overall number 1 in Europe currently, his brother's got a regional win, what he hasn't got.
There you go, take that, bro. So yeah, overall Dortmund was quite a nice event. It looked like there was a lot of variation in the decks. I know, okay, sure, Zard and Tina made up for nearly 40% of the total meta. That's whatever, it doesn't really matter. The rest of it all, though, seemed quite nice to have, Moon making up 12, Guardy 10 on Lost Zone, 8 on Miraidon. Miraidon having a really nice showing.
Miraidon did have a nice showing, and I think if people aren't liking the nearly the 16% currently of Zard, They're not going to like after rotation when people are increasing that percentage there, because it's one of the few decks not losing a lot of pieces.
Zard's going to be one of those decks post-rotation that we're going to see 40% at one of these regionals. I'm not saying it's every single one, but I'm saying at least one of these regionals, we're going to see Zard hit that 40%.
It's going to be one of the early ones where the meta is unclear and people are not sure what to build, or they're not comfortable on something else because they haven't been able to get the reps that they have got with Zard, because Zard has been around in pretty much the same format for the entire time that it's existed. It's losing around a total of like 6 cards, which all get replaced very easily after the rotation.
I think, and I'm going to say this now, Meowscarada is going to take a leap in popularity.
Yes.
Even if for a short stint, while we figure out how the Iron Leaves works properly, and maybe if Wo Chen decides to make an appearance again. But I think Meowscarada is going to be like, hey, I'm here. I'm in 6% of all representation, but I will kill that Zard. And I actually think it's not a good replacement to Inteleon Urshifu, but an all-right replacement to Inteleon Urshifu.
If it can get a high enough representation, I think it can keep the Zards in check so that we can have some interesting day 2s at least.
Yeah, and it's one of those things of when we look at these meta breakdowns from everybody's point of view, when we start to see a deck doing superior, like really, really well, other decks adapt, other decks come up in popularity again because they're trying to make that deck become in check. And as soon as that deck's in check, the deck that the Charizard was keeping in check now comes into popularity again. So people start playing more Zard, playing more counters. And it's this whole meta shift that we see. And it's a really interesting sort of kaleidoscope of decks, particularly at the moment, that we're seeing sort of overlapping each other. And this whole, what they call it, a Venn diagram of where those sweet spots are is just so vast in the current meta that it's difficult to pin exactly one deck down and say this is incredible. That might change after rotation.
I hope that we keep the sort of shift that we keep getting where every week there is different decks increasing in popularity because of X, Y, and Z deck doing well, that so-and-so deck isn't keeping in check anymore because someone else has got popular with something else. I think and I hope that based off what we're seeing coming out of Japan and the lists that are being created is that we still have a wide meta, and we'll be able to judge that a bit more better after EUIC and we actually get rotation in place in the Western cultures.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice to see, and I'm very, very much looking forward to that. And we'll do a full breakdown and look down at temporal forces, how we think that's going to affect the meta, and also the Japan results of the past 4 weeks or whatever they all had at that point after I come back from Utrecht. So we'll do a Utrecht episode, and then after that will be the rotation episode.
Yes.
So we're looking mid-March for that. So keep your eyes, ears, and potatoes peeled for that one, or whatever. So yeah, Dortmund, really cool, really, really nice regional, good, enjoyable. Everybody seemed like they had a good time. And 3 of the UK players out of Ethan's sort of group managed to punch their tickets to Honolulu.
I saw there's a good number of UK players that are now going to be represented in Honolulu. I think I know of about 7 that have punched their ticket now.
That's pretty damn good, isn't it?
Which is pretty good, and it's pretty nice to see that not only is the European representation increasing, but the UK representation is increasing too.
Yeah, that's actually pretty darn cool. I'm very excited for that. Yeah, we saw Ross, Bloren, Alex, I can't remember Alex's surname, and then Ethan Wild all punching their tickets with those finishes for Dortmund, which is really, really nice to see.
It is nice to see. So
Brilliant.
Well. And a lovely end to Dortmund's time. Hopefully we get to see Dortmund again next year on the calendar, because it does seem to be a regional that people enjoyed and a regional that seemed to have a lot of interesting decks coming out.
Yep, it is. Speaking of interesting things, let's move on to our next section. Am I going to do a theme tune for this? Maybe. Oh. Let's move on to our next section. Hear me out. So, we were talking about what we should do this week on the podcast, because obviously we've only got one regional to cover, and we've got a couple of things to do. But I think you suggested, you
suggested it to me, and
yep.
I thought it would be an interesting idea.
Yep.
I did not know the name that Ben was going to come up for this little segment at the time.
No, but hear me out, right? It's a good name. The idea of this segment is to, both me and Beth have gone away. We've looked through the currently available pool of cards, that's E onwards in rotation for standard stuff. and we have chosen 2 cards each out of those, like all Pokemon, all trainers, all special energies, all items, everything.
Yep.
We've chosen a card, or 2 cards each, and the idea is we're going to alternate, and we're going to essentially fight our case as to why we think this card is good or playable in the current meta.
Yep.
Now, disclosure before we start. They're probably bad. Or there's a reason cards don't get played in the meta. We're not some big-brained, like, mega mind style people that have come up with something off the... Maybe we are, but I doubt it. However, we've just chosen these because of the writing on the cards that we really, really enjoy.
Or just what the card does seems like it could really have a little shake-up in how it's played.
This is going to be so bad. Are you ready for this?
I am ready for this, Ben.
Okay. Are we starting with myself?
Start with yourself.
Oh, no.
I need to see this card.
Okay. Well, I've got... Right, okay. I've got 2 Pokemon for you today.
Yep.
You've got a Pokemon and an item?
I've got a Pokemon and a tool.
And a tool. Okay. Let's start with the card that I believe could keep Charizard in check.
Okay.
We're going with something that has seen a little bit of play before. It's Hisuian Lilligant V-Star. Okay? It's up on the screen now. The shaking of Beth's head and the face palm. Now hear me out, right? Listen. Hisuian Lilligant V-Star. It's a V-Star, so it's essentially a stage 1, but it's a V-Star from the Hisuian Lilligant.
Yes, it is.
Which is bad, don't play it. Don't play this either, but it's got 260 HP.
Yep.
So it's a pretty decent HP slot. It's the same as a Goldengo.
It's got a decent HP amount, yes.
It's an F rotation. It means we're going to be seeing it around after rotation. We're not, but we might do. It's got a 3 energy attack that's double leaf colourless called Parallel Spin. It says 130 plus. Okay, the number's not great. 130 is pretty bad. And then it goes, you may put an energy attached to this Pokemon into your hand. If you do, this attack does 100 more damage.
So it's doing 230.
Yep. That's actually a really good number. Bye-bye Iron Hands. Bye-bye Chien-Pao. Bye-bye Charizard and Roaring Moon. Like, gone. Just dead and gone. Finished.
I mean, Roaring Moon, you don't even need to put the energy back in your hand.
No, you don't, but it'd be funny if you did. No, come on. Right, like, it hits those hitters. Okay, it doesn't kill Goldengo.
It hits those it hits those hitters.
Yep.
But it needs 2 grass and a colourless.
Yeah, easy done. Hear me out? Gardenia's Vigor. You play a 4 of Gardenia's Vigor, and you don't care about the rest. Because Gardenia's Vigor is, you can attach 2 cards from your hand, 2 energy, grass energy, to your Pokemon in any way you like, and you draw 2 cards, or something like that. It'll be on the screen, you'll read it. I have 4 copies of Alt Arts. I bought them specifically through my Masquerada deck, but I'm now persuading myself that I should play this Lilligant. Anyway, so the attack, it's not a problem. It's easy done.
It's easy done, but currently in the meta, other than Charizard and Roaring Moon, what is it keeping in check?
Oh, it also, like, I don't know, donks on Miraidon. Anything they put on there, as long as it's not got a Bravely Charm, anything they put in there, it just one-shots.
Yeah, but it's most likely getting rid of your V before you can establish a V-Star.
No, that's why you put 2 Vs down, don't be silly. And then you put a little one-prizer in the active and just be like, oh no, hit the one-prizer, what a shame. But it one-shots everything, and into things like Miraidon and Hands, it doesn't get one shot back. It's at that sweet 260 spot, meaning Chien-Pao needs to discard 5 energies, not 6, to be able to deal with it. It's not dying to a return KO after the first KO from Charizard without them putting a Defiance Band on it or a Choice Belt. And it's just good. Okay, it's weaker to fire, so Radiant Zards, hello, Entei's, hello. But other than that, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's actually alright. What makes it even better is the V-Star power, right? This is the reason that I've actually got it in here. You can use this during your turn, any point. You may search your deck for up to 5 in any combination of grass Pokemon, grass energy cards. Reveal them, put them to your hand, shuffle your deck. So that Gardenia's Vigor, don't worry, you've got the energy in hand. You can just V-Star for them. V-Star for them in hand. You could use an Earthen Vessel to pull them to hand. If you need to set up more grass Pokemon, maybe you want a cheeky little Grottle in there, with the Torterra EX that's coming out in the future. You could just choose the 5 cards you want. That's like 5 Ultra Balls without discarding anything. That's 2.5 earthen vessels without discarding anything. Sure, it's once a game, but my god, it's a good card. It has so much potential to be able to play.
And that's why there's been 0 in any deck lists right now. Because it's not a good card.
No, but hear me out, right? Listen.
Okay.
It has, when you talk about it, it has the ability to be great.
It has the ability to be great, but most of the time, people are going to take out your Lilligant before it's getting to the V-Star.
Yeah, I mean, it's got 190 on the Lilligant.
It's got 200.
Oh, still? That's pretty good.
200, a attack that has 0 energy.
Yeah.
Draw until you have 6 cards in hand.
Good. If you need it in a pinch, you've just out Roxanne yourself. Okay, you're going to lose 2 prizes, but you've out Roxanne yourself.
Yeah, but at that point, you're most likely going to lose because then...
Yeah, but this is why you establish 3 Vs first. You're fine. They can't possibly kill 3 in one
then
turn.
For 2 grass and 1 colourless, you're doing 130.
Yeah, the V is pointless. I'm not talking about the V. I'm talking about the V-Star.
The V needs to be okay, at least.
Oh, it's okay. It's got 200 HP. That's more than most Vs.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's Mew V. 180. Other Mew Vs, 180. 200's fine.
A lot of the V-Stars have 200 plus.
Yeah, I know.
But the Vs have 200 plus.
Yeah,
like,
but
most of them having 210.
What's the retreat
220.
cost?
2.
What, on the V?
Yeah.
Oh, Struth, it's a bad card. Don't play it. Well, it's 1 on the V-Star.
Yeah, I don't know why it's gone up to 1 on the V-Star. Down
Sure.
to 1 on the V-Star.
I think they both should be at 1, to be fair. Maybe it's been errated. No, just... But tell me the points that I've made to you about that V-Star aren't correct.
It's correct, but...
There you go. Signed, sealed, delivered. Done.
But outside of Zard,
Mm-hmm.
you're not really keeping any... Zard and Moon, you're not really doing too much.
What? I just told you, it one-shots everything.
It does not one-shot everything.
It does. It one-shots all Miraidon. The entirety of Miraidon's deck, it just one-shots.
Gardevoir just beats it.
Yeah,
to a pulp.
but Gardevoir loses so much with rotation. I know we're talking about right now, but I'm thinking prepping for rotation. Guardy loses so much.
But then it also has a lot of things that can come in.
Yeah, but it loses more than it gains. Trust me, this Hisuian Lilligant V-Star is powerful.
If someone rocks up to League Night with this, I am just taking your Zard deck for that week, just to show that you can beat it with Zard.
Oh, I'm not saying you can't beat it with Zard.
You can beat it with Zard very easily.
I don't know. I think this keeps you in check more than you think.
No, because Zard's a lot easier to set up.
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
I don't understand. What's the difference?
Zards accelerate to themselves.
Yeah.
You need about 7 things to work out for
You
you to
literally
accelerate.
need 1. It's called a supporter.
Yeah, but you also need the energy in hand.
Easy done. It has a V-Star power built into it that does that.
Yeah, and then once once you've used the V-Star power, you can't get that energy
You've got
again.
Earth or Vessels.
So you're going to go Earth and Vessel your energy out.
Yeah. And then you start thinning the deck. Why not put a cheeky little Goldengo in there to discard it? Oh my word, actually. Lilligant V-Star, 1/1 line of Lilligant, 1/1 line of Palkia, Grass, Water, Metal in
That just sounds like too much
in
energy in one
Goldengo,
deck.
right? And then you just like V-Star for 5, and you're like, cool, my Goldengo kills you for 250. I think it's got legs. I mean, it has got legs. It's a bipedal floral thing.
I was going to say, it's
got
literally
legs.
got legs.
I think it's good. I think this is kind of mid. And this is a mid podcast for mid players.
I was going to say, that is why we're mid podcast by mid players, because you think Hisuian Lilligant V has legs.
I do. It absolutely does have legs. The whole point of this section is to try and persuade the other person that this card is good. It's good. I'm telling you. I will try to get the bits to build it.
Get the bits to build it.
Yep.
We'll have a game to see if you can actually make it work.
Yep. We'll record the game.
If you can make it work, I will believe you.
Okay. Right. Well, I'll take that. I will take that as a half win. If I can prove to you that it'll beat Zard specifically, because you
Yes.
seem to think Zard will just smash it.
I think once you've got once you've got one Zard out of the way, that's where the issue's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're just hitting.
But they're not killing. Because if you knock one out, the
Yeah,
other Zard only hits for 240.
Yeah, but then you're going to be down to 3 prizes most likely because you probably have taken a Charmander out.
No, you don't do that, right? You just don't. I mean, you look at Elegant V, it doesn't do anything. No, trust me. I genuinely think that it'll be absolutely fine.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually do. I think it's got legs.
I think you're going to need to get 3 established.
Mm-hmm. Easy done.
Because Zard's going to take out the first 2 very easily.
No, it won't though. It has to 2-hit it.
Not if you've got a Radiant Zard in the deck.
Yeah, but if you've only got 1, you have to waste all your energy accelerating to that, and then there's nothing in the deck. I get where you're coming from, but that I don't think it's enough, because to be able to make the Radiant Zard work without me taking any prizes, you have to attach plus accelerate 3.
Okay, so my argument is going to be Arc players have played Superior V-Star to try and keep the Zard in check.
Yep.
It's not worked.
You don't need. You just play this. Trust me. It sucks into Giratina, but play this.
Yeah, when Tina's 14% of the meta, you really want to play a deck that's an auto
Zard
loss.
16. I think it's an auto win into Zard. We'll try it. We'll come back to this. We don't want to spend too many minutes on my graceful inclusion here.
Yeah.
You just shooting it down. I see how it is. Right, go on then. Come on, miss.
'Kay.
I've got a big brain. Let's go.
I'll start with my Pokemon first.
Okay.
It's Annihilate from Scarlet and Violet base.
Okay, the EX.
No.
No, the one prizer.
The 1 prizer.
Okay.
Because the attack does 70 for each prize card they have taken.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally just a finisher.
Right.
Which you can shock some people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, it takes 2 turns to set up.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to have forward thinking to think, okay, I bench my monkey this turn.
It dies.
That's if they think. And they don't just go for the big thing in the active.
Mm-hmm.
Because a big thing is they're like, ooh, shiny. People get distracted by that and don't look on your bench a lot of the time. They'll think, why the hell is there a monkey sat on the bench?
Mm-hmm.
Won't think anything of it. They'll think it's some stupid play. You then rare candy into Annihilate
Mm-hmm.
for 1 fighting
Mm-hmm.
70 times every prize card your opponent has taken.
Sure.
That's knocking out a lot of things.
So 70 times 4 is 280.
Mm-hmm.
70 times 5 is 350.
Yep.
So it does a lot of damage.
It does a lot of damage. It's a nice finisher.
That's a stage 2.
Stage 2.
What deck are you including it in? Or are you including a 1-1 Mankey Annihilate with Candy? Like a 1-1-1?
No, it's not like a 1-1-1. It's going to go into a deck that's already running Candy.
Sure.
Yeah, because all you need is a way to search out energy from your deck.
Okay.
So you can search
Sorry, yeah, I'm just adding the pieces like I was with you were with
Yeah.
mine. Carry on.
a way to search out energy from your deck.
Yep.
You need access to a Candy,
Yep.
which there's quite a few decks that are already running Candy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just include it as a 1-1 inclusion as tech for a lot of matchups, especially after rotation, where in Japan right now, Arceus is very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Arceus is weak to fighting.
Yep.
You can take a 2 prizer and return KO a 1 prizer
Mm-hmm.
after they've taken 2 prizes.
But you have to use the candies on an Annihilate.
Yeah.
Why?
If you're running 4, then what's the matter?
because what deck are you realistically including it in that has space for the candies? Or is it its own deck?
It's already got the candies in the deck, so you're only putting it in decks that have already utilising
Yeah,
candies.
but where are you getting the fighting energy?
You include it as a one-off, like you do. Okay. If Shenpao
Yeah.
can find space for a one-off like electric
Yep.
and a one-off Iron Hands,
Yeah.
that's 2 of the 4. That's 2 of the 3 spaces already.
So Okay. What if you...
and it's knocking out anything in a Miraidon deck as well,
Alright.
which isn't losing a lot of pieces after rotation.
Actually, to be fair to you, all they have to do is take 2 knockouts, and then all of a sudden it one-shots everything in the
Exactly.
deck. Okay, I'll give you that. However,
However,
it's just bad. Why would you not build a deck around the Mankeys plus the Annihilate with the EX in there?
because the EX is bad.
What? The EX is great.
No, it's
Oh god, this isn't my bonus card, by the way. It's 320 HP for 1 energy. You can put up to 12 counters on it, and it does 20 for each.
Yeah, and you're then turning it into a 200 HP Pokemon.
Yeah, but into Arceus and into Miraidon, you don't need to put anywhere near that much on it.
Into Arceus and Miraidon, no, but everything else, yes.
Yeah, but that's why you hit with the 1 prizer, Beth. Come on.
It's tech for Miraidon and Arceus, which are looking quite strong after rotation.
Just in 3 cards.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 3 cards.
It's bad.
I never said it was good.
Hang on, let's look at the Mankey. Is it like 50 HP?
Well, there's a few different Mankeys that you've got options of.
We've got a 60 HP one with Hang Down. Oofed. We've got another 60 HP one with Thrash.
All the legal ones are 60.
Monkey Beatdown. They're just bad. Mankey's a really cool Pokemon.
I never said the Mankey was the good part.
Oh, but you were picking on me for the Lilligant V.
Lilligant V isn't good.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Lilligant V isn't good. V-Star is good.
Yeah, but this is only giving up 1 prize. You're always giving up 2 prizes.
Yeah, but yours is taking nothing in return properly. It just dies. It would... I can see merit with it. I can understand. But it requires you to have to take up that bench space.
I will put it in a Shampoo deck and prove to you that it can play.
Oh my god. Put it in a Shampoo deck, let me play with Greninja and watch you cry.
Yeah, but you know what I'm doing. I'm going into players who don't know what I'm doing with it.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If you set up Frigiback, say it's turn what? What are we on? Turn 3?
Turn 3, probably. Turn 3 or 4.
I've taken 2, you've taken 2.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, oh, I'm going to need a Mankey, not this turn, but next turn, I'm going to need an Annihilate.
Yep.
Next turn, after they've taken 2 this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you have 2 Frigibacks, a Mankey, a Chenpow with no energy on it.
Yeah, but at that point, if it's turn 3, I'll have Baxcaliburs.
Probably not 2, probably just the 1.
The 1, but yeah.
Right? But then I just go, oh, here's the Greninja.
Yeah, but
hang on, I'm just going to kill that Frigivax, and I'm going to kill that Mankey?
That's why I have the Manaphy there. So you have to find the gusting effect.
It's so bad.
So there's a Baxcalibur,
Uh-huh.
a Shampoo,
Yep.
Shampoo in the active, Bibarel, Mankey, Manaphy.
Do you know why Iron Hands works? Because it's a 1-part Pokemon.
No, it's 2-part because you need the electric energy.
Sure. You've given me a 4-part Pokemon.
I gave you a 2-part Pokemon.
4-part Pokemon. Mankey, Candy, Annihilate, Fighting Energy.
Okay, the Candy's already in the deck though.
But you could say that about energy. You could put a Lightning Energy in any deck you wanted, just to mess with people. Ooh, actually, Gardy, you got space for a Lightning.
Yeah, but what's your accelerator?
Oh, I'll just accelerate to a Guardian and 3 energy switch.
Please do not do that, people. Ben really knows that would not work.
Trust me, it's bad. Okay, so your Annihilate is your... Okay, interesting.
That's my Pokemon. my trainer is a lot better, I will admit. But I want to hear what your Pokemon is first.
Okay. So, Lilligancer, wait until be proven. I could see the Annihilate being alright. This is so bad.
We never said it was going to be good.
No, mine's bad.
Okay, I'm ready.
I don't think you are.
I'm ready.
So, just disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
This is with Arceus, the Arceus Rayquaza that we've seen.
Yep.
It's with that in mind, minus Rayquazas.
Okay.
Although it doesn't matter because this rotates anyway.
Okay.
But
Rayquaza's rotating anyways.
this is an alternate.
Okay.
It is the Heatmore number 041 from Fusion Strike.
I've seen this in a bloody deck.
Have you actually?
Yes.
Oh, what? I haven't. Okay, so
I saw it on Twitter. It's not been played at a regional.
But you actually saw it in a deck?
I saw it in a deck.
Oh,
like,
that's
let me
sick.
see if I can find it.
Well, whilst Beth's looking at that, I'm going to talk through this card. This Heatmore has 110 HP, right? It's a basic. 1 energy Flame Cloak. Attach a fire energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Oh my god, it won a cup. That's the exact deck I was thinking about it in. Arceus plus Armarouge. Anyway, and then Exciting Flame. Okay? It's 3 energy, 2 fire, 1 colourless, 90 damage to the active. If this Pokemon has at least 3 extra energy attached, this attack also does 180 damage to one of the benched Pokemon.
I don't think I can class this as you trying to convince me, considering I've already seen it in a deck that won a cup.
But it's good, right?
Someone else already thought of it first, Ben.
I'm not saying as I said at the start of the bit, I'm not Megamind. This is good, right? With the Armor Rouge, being able to base into something on the bench, Arceus to V's, and then you just move it all to the Heatmore.
Spoiler alert, you just you base into the Heatran.
Well, you base into the Heatran as well, but this is an attacker that also bench snipes in a deck that has no bench snipe.
It has bench snipe.
Does it?
Delphox.
Oh no, but you swap it for the Delphox.
You swap this for the Delphox.
Yeah, this hits for 180 on bench. It's mental. That Mew EX that you've got hiding there. Oh no. I'm gonna boss that Bidoof and I'm gonna ruin it. That Squawkabilly sat there, gone. I don't even have to lost zone any energy with this.
Yeah, but you didn't have to convince me because I'd already seen it and already thought of it as being, okay, yeah, that's good.
It's good. It's a bad card. It's good. I'm glad I don't have to convince you. I think it's solid.
You don't
I
have
think
to
it's
convince
usable.
me because I've already seen it.
Well, there you
in a
go.
list.
That's a point for me then. Because let's be honest, there's a reason it's not been seen in regionals. It's just too difficult to sell.
Arc Rayquaza only got saw at
Recently.
Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a good... I don't need to convince you. There you go. That was the shortest win for me ever. I'll chalk that point up to a W. Thank you very much.
You didn't even do the convincing, though. Twitter did the convincing.
Thank you. Using the internet against you. Right, show me your
I will
trainer.
send you this list so you can put the photo in to show what the actual list had actually...
Who's it from? Who tweeted it?
Braden Alford.
Yeah. Me and Braden, one and the same. Right, carry on. Maybe I am Braden. I'm not. Anyway, sorry. Go on. Give me your trainer.
So my trainer is Wind Up Arm.
Oh, I love Wind Up Arm. Wind Up Arm. You see, you don't have to what is this? You don't have to convince me. It's so good.
It is, yeah.
Go on. Tell me why it's good.
Okay, so the main thing, my main process of thinking was that a lot of Miraidon lists out there are trying to counter the Gazard by using Tapu Koko EX.
The Gazard.
The Zard.
I thought you said the Gazard.
No, I said the Zard.
I was like, who's Gazard? Is that like Guzma?
No, the Zard by playing Tapu Koko EX to be able to paralyze them. If the defending Pokemon has Wind Up Arm on it, it can still attack.
Yeah, whether it's asleep or paralyzed.
Yes. I was coming on to that part.
Okay, sorry.
So the Tapu Koko would mean that there's basically null and void. There's no point to doing it because you're just getting a return KO next turn anyways.
Mm-hmm.
My secondary reason was more of a rotation reason.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't lose Wind Up Arm, but we lose Spicy Seasoned Curry.
Oh, bad curry.
Now, if you you'd have to pair it with very specific Pokemon to be able to make it work.
I think I know what's coming.
The Parasect from Lost Origin.
The one that puts you to sleep and poisons you.
That puts you to sleep and poisons you.
Yeah, both you and your opponent.
Yeah, you and your opponent. You then just attach the Wind Up Arm
To the Hisuian Electrode.
To the Hisuian Electrode. You're not needing to use Brute Bonnet anymore, meaning you've got the space in the deck for other things.
You need a Parasect.
You need a Parasect, yes. But you've got space from the Spicy Seasoned Curry, what you're no longer using.
Yep.
You've got your Pokemon Search still. You can get the basics out with Poffin, apart from the Cloth.
Yeah. You can tool your way into it with Arven. Or Town Store.
Which they both already use.
Yep.
It works. It makes Cloth Electrode still playable after rotation.
So my very first Electrode deck that I wrote had 4 of these in and no other tools. Just 4 Wind Up Arms. And the idea was to use the Parasect to put myself to sleep. So I've already written this list and I've got it on live and I've played it many, many times on live. So you don't need to convince me this is a good card because I think it is in certain places. I think it's very, very good.
So, yeah, but my list did not come from Twitter that you saw that it was good. You just read the card yourself.
No, but your list came from my brain that I'd already built.
I didn't know you'd already built it.
I didn't know you'd seen it on Twitter. There we go.
See, this is the issue when you're at work all weekend and can't sit on Twitter and see what's out there that's happening that weekend.
Yeah. Oh, was that this weekend?
Yeah. That was this weekend.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise. I genuinely didn't realise that. Okay,
It
so...
was literally the 11th, so yesterday.
Well, there is that, I guess. I mean, Heatmore's great. Winder Palm's great. I think we could take that Heatmore and Winder Palm are actually really solid cards.
Yes, Heatmore and Winder Palm are
Yep.
solid cards. I'm glad that you can think that the card, one of the two cards I chose at least,
Yep.
is a solid card.
Yep. Likewise, that you've seen it already on Twitter that I didn't realise, but it was enough to make you realise that it is a good card too.
As soon as I heard Fusion Strike, I knew the Heatmore you were going for, and I was there like, I've seen this deck somewhere
Okay.
before.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when I chose these cards, I just was on PTC Geo or whatever it is, and I just scrolled down and went, oh, that looks weird. I've not seen that before. Oh, that's what I've not seen. Oh, I've not seen that before. And yeah, there you go, Heatmore. That's where that came from.
I just literally sat and went through Limitless and was like, what's on here?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh, I remembered that trainer that looks really good. Let me make sure that is the one I'm thinking of.
Yep.
Googled it. Well, went on Limitless and was like, Winder Palm. And I was like, that is the one. So, yep.
Yep, straight in there. Okay, so we're definitely a 1-1.
We are at 1-1.
I say Heatmore, you say Winder Palm, they get the checks.
Yes.
However, you want to see proof that Lilligant works,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to see proof that Annihilate works.
Annihilate can work.
To be fair, the amount of resources that Lilligant needs to work is probably the exact same amount of resources that the Primate begins to work. However, the Lilligant fits into a Meowscarada deck or a Lilligant deck on its own. The Primate would need to...
It fits in anything that's running Rare Candy.
Okay, it could go in Garchomp Lucario.
Garchomp Lucario is just bad.
Oh, I should have started with that. I should have started with Lucario. I think it's great. The Lucario is great. It's just a
The
shame it's a stage
Lucario
one.
on its own is good.
The Garchomp's great. 1 energy, 160 damage, accelerate 3 energy. Everything you could ever want in a boy.
160 damage. You have to two-shot everything in the map.
Yeah, but when you sat with 320 yourself, on a fighting type as well, you destroy Miraidon, you destroy Arceus. Bye-bye, Felicia.
Shenpao, Goldengo,
Yeah, but
Tina.
that's beside the point. But you accelerate.
Zard.
You accelerate onto the little boy, and the little boy can kill everything. Yeah. Ash's bro. The Lucario.
Which people can take out before you even get to the point where...
Yeah, I mean, that's a different story for a different day. Show me the Annihilate works, I'll trust you. Watch the Twitter spaces. I guess we'll post something about whether we think it works or not later.
We'll get these decks built and give them a test.
Even if it's on live, which might be the only way to get these
It
decks
probably
built.
will be, yeah.
We'll get that sorted. I'll throw a 60 together for Hisui and Lilligant, and you'll throw one together for... Well, you just choose a deck, and then... This is the problem with you. You don't have to do anything creative. You just whack it in there and hope for the best.
We never said we had to create a deck around it.
No, we didn't, to be fair.
We just said, could see play.
I think the Hisui Lilligant could see play.
For Hisui and Lilligant, you need to create its own deck.
I think the deck's good, though. It's got a great V-Star power that just rips 5 cards out of your deck. It's great.
Yeah, but you're not getting the Torterra what you're saying that you can play because that doesn't come out until next set.
No, but there is a little... You could get this Torterra that's got the hammer arm, which is really bad. It's like a stage 3 that is like 200 HP that does 150 damage for 4 energy.
Stage 3? You've invented a stage
Oh,
now?
sorry. Yeah, well, it's when a stage 1 and a stage 2 love each other very much. They make a stage 3.
I thought they made a basic.
Yeah, it's called it. Oh, yeah, it would do. I guess stage 3 is just a mega revolution at this point.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah.
That's where I was expecting you to
Sure.
go, and you just went with when a stage 1 and a stage 2 love each other very much.
So, yeah, 1-1 on Hear Me Out, pending further results.
Pending results of play with other decks.
Yep. If you go into our Twitter, we've got a Twitter now. I know this is like an hour or 45 minutes, 50 minutes into the episode. We have a Twitter. I should have opened this. It is at just attach pass because attach pass was taken, attach_pass was taken, and attach pass podcast was too long. Which I thought it's got kind of a nice ring to it, Attach Pass Podcast. So yeah, just Attach Pass on Twitter. Go see art there. You'll see the result of the decks.
Yep.
I'm gonna win.
You'll see the final verdicts.
Yeah, and you'll see the 60 cards that I run and the 4 cards Beth changes.
We never said they had to pair into each other. We just said they had to pair into the meta.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm choosing Zard for Lilligant.
Okay.
And you're probably going to choose Maridon or something for...
I was going to choose either an Arcpile or Maridon, yeah.
Annihilate. What? Anyway, yeah, we'll deal with that later. So yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that little section there. I thought that was quite fun.
It was fun.
I thought that was enjoyable. Maybe we'll have to do something like that again later on.
Maybe at some point we'd have to do a community vote where we get a card chosen by the community that we have to argue.
Oh my god, that would be so bad. Somebody will give me like Bond Suite.
Oh, not Bonsley.
No, because that's got free retreat. That's actually good. That's got something. At least it's a pivot. Right, and it confuses and sleeps your opponent's Pokemon.
I think so, yes.
Like, come on, that's actually no.
Ben, no.
We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Okay.
We're not doing it.
Well, now that we've done with Hear Me Out.
Great name, great section.
We'll move on to how you're prepping for Utrecht, Ben.
Yeah, Utrecht.
So today you had to get in your preliminary list to be able to confirm that you would be attending.
Yeah, today is the 12th of February. Yep, Monday the 12th. I had to get my list in. I don't think anybody is going to be watching this and like trying to snipe anything. So I'm taking Gardevoir. That has been decided. I am taking this.
There could still be a few changes between now and the final list that he actually plays. He's got a few pivots that he's thinking about.
Yeah, things that are definitely in it are obviously the Guardies, the Rolts, the Curliers in the standard sort of 4 Rolts, 3 Refinement Curlier, 1 Mirage Step, 2 Arcana, 2 EXs. I've changed one of my Rolts from the Mirage Step to the Teleportation Burst.
You mean the Memory Skip?
Yep, sorry, yep. The Memory Skip. So that's in there. The Zacian is back in. I did originally have it as a Mew EX. Yep. Only because I wanted to test it out. I thought it was a nice sort of 1 prize finisher into Zard because your opponent's most likely going down to 1 prize against you as Guardy. And I thought it was really nice to be able to just, because it's psychic, accelerate those 3 energy onto it using Guardy. Yep. And then have the Mew EX as a basic Pokemon, Fog Crystal Ball, Battle Vipper
Nest Ballable,
Ultra Ballable. Just have it in the active and then just like as a game finisher, the same way that your Annihilate was. Yep. Just take out the Zard because if they've taken 5 prizes, it does 180 plus 30 for each. Yeah. So that's 330. That's enough to kill the Zard. Yeah. And I thought that might be quite nice. Also, the restart's nice if they Iono you.
Yes, it is.
Or if you have nothing in hand or need to Ultra Ball away to find a Refinement Curlier, you can then put that on the bench, then restart for 3, get your fodder out for Refinement, and then build through that. But I think it's weird because the Zacian's just a solid attacker.
The Zacian is too good to not include because of the attack being very similar to the Baby Guardies. So that if then you haven't got access to a Baby Guardi at any point, you've got an attacker that you can use again. Yep. It is able to get out with most of the cards all the cards in your deck. Yep. So
solid.
It's solid in that respect. I would say that
post row,
it's going to be hard.
I'd probably look at trying to fit the Mew EX in, just a one-off.
I can agree, and I think obviously there potentially will be some changes between now and Utrecht. Yep. If anyone is wanting to go to Utrecht that hasn't registered, any tickets that did not get confirmed are apparently going back on sale on Thursday.
They'll be out tomorrow.
So that'll be tomorrow.
If you're watching this on Wednesday, on Valentine's Day, Wednesday the 14th. Yep. It'll be out tomorrow. So just keep an eye on it. And if you're interested, come and play along.
Yeah, Ben will be there, but I unfortunately won't be. I'm busy.
Elsewhere.
I'm busy.
Yep. And then in terms, back to the deck. Yep. In terms of stuff, I've got 4 Vips, 4 levels. Yep. You've moved my search around.
I'm sorry.
I've got 3 Ultras.
3 Ultras.
And then 2 Fog Crystal.
2 Fogs.
I was tempted to try and... I've seen a lot of lists that are Vipless at the moment that are running the 4 Fog Crystals as well. which is quite nice because later on in the game you can use them to find that energy that you need, or those basic Pokemon, which is quite nice. Top
There was
8.
only one in top 8.
One of the 3 Guardies was Vipless, which is interesting to know, and something that I think we're going to see a lot more of because there'll be new Vips after rotation.
The one thing I would say is, though, that I think it was Brisbane Regionals.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the Guardies that finished in top 8 there went Vipless.
Yep.
A lot of them then went back to being Vip because it was more consistent for setup.
The setup's key with Guardie.
So I think staying Vipped is the way to go until rotation, and whatever form Guardie takes is one deck I need to look at to see how it's looking in Japan and how it could look.
Spoiler alert.
I know it's bad. I'm just seeing how it could look and potentially, because obviously we have a different format of best of 3, could it still work in a best of 3 format even though it doesn't work in a best of 1 format?
I think you have to toolbox it with Drifloon and Bravery Charms. Genuinely, I think Drifloon with a Bravery Charm plus a Quad Stone, or a Moonlit Hill and double acceleration or whatever to get you. The Drifloon with a Bravery Charm can hit 330. For 7 energy, like in the way you have to attach it to make sure that those numbers hit right.
Yeah.
So I think we can see it happen, which is going to be interesting.
I think it just needs a bit of looking at and a bit of work before finalising, but there is ways that it can look. Yep. Obviously, that is something I'm doing because even though Ben's got an idea, he's not focusing on it.
No. I am focusing on the fact that I have 2 counter catches, 2 candies, 2 rod in here. Pretty standard. I've got the Collapse and the Artisan, which is 100% standard.
100% standard. Keep it as that. No point changing.
I'm tossing up between the Moonlit Hill and the Lost Vacuum. I think the Lost Vacuum has more merit because I can hoover off things like the Box of Disaster or the...
especially considering it is Mew's last EU dance.
Yep.
I think the Vacuum is the way to go.
I could target a Vip that's just chilling out. A Seal Stone that's just chilling out and not been used yet. So that's pretty solid. I'm going with 4 Iono, which is standard.
Yep.
I've dropped from 2 Worker down to 1.
I think that's needed, though.
And put the Research in this place.
Yes, I like that.
I don't. I love double Worker.
You just like having double Worker and as many bumps as you possibly can in the deck.
Bye Path. And then I've got the 1 boss as everything runs. I've also put the Churros in because that's probably going to save me against like a Marwile or something.
Or a Snorlax.
Or a Snorlax. And then it's 10 Psychic and 2 Reversal.
So pretty standard.
Yeah, very, very standard. Nothing too crazy to write home about with those. Sometimes we've seen the 3 Reversal, 9 Psychic.
Yep.
Which has got play and also has got merit. I just think the 10 Psychic, is probably slightly more consistent.
I think 10 Psychic is more consistent and a better play.
Yep.
So now we've done a quick rundown of your deck.
Yep.
How is actually playtesting going?
Bad. So I had to work quite a lot the calf this week just to make sure that it was running, which is fine. But now that's over and done with, I've got to start actually playtesting, getting on live a lot more.
Getting hit by Zard a lot more.
Yeah, hopefully playing. Basically, I think we had this conversation. I want to have you for like a week just play Zard into me. Because I really struggle with that matchup. I know I shouldn't because Guardie's pretty good into it. But I struggle with knowing when to do what and where. Mostly because I just brick and I have no idea how to get myself out of that brick.
It's not just that you brick, it's that because you've bricked so many times into that matchup, you've not learnt your lines.
Yeah.
Which, if you learn your lines into that matchup, you'll be fine.
Yep.
And I think eventually you will literally just be able to beat the matchup without thinking.
Yeah, it's like with the Sable Zard at Liverpool. I'd played against Sam so many times with his Sable Zard and Moon.
I was going to say, Sam hit you so many times, you just knew the matchup.
Yeah, I knew exactly what he was doing, when he was doing it, and where he was doing it, and I knew exactly how to beat it, except in round 9, but I was really, really poorly. So.
And you were really, really tired at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it didn't help that you had a deck check at the start of the round that probably meant you had to think more than what you wanted to.
Oh, it took 11 minutes. 11 minutes for that deck check.
I'm reckoning it's this thing's fault.
Yeah, it is that thing's fault. 11 minutes is crazy. So practice hasn't gone particularly anywhere. I think it was nice to have sort of a couple of weeks just not doing anything ahead of U-Track.
Yeah, no, I agree, especially having Liverpool just before it.
Yeah, so I've had that break, and then this week hopefully we'll be back on form. I'll hopefully be playing every Wednesday now. up to Utrecht just to be able to get reps in. Doesn't matter who I'm playing, it's just more reps with the deck.
Yeah, no, reps is one of the most important things. Sometimes you can go into the most god-awful match knowing that you're playing something you can beat in your sleep, or the most off-meta thing, because people will take off-meta things.
Yeah, they will. They absolutely will. So yeah, I'm putting this together to be able to, sort of play in every Wednesday, and then I think I'd like to go to as many cups and challenges and things as I can ahead of Utrecht, just so not only so I can try and get some more points, just because points mean points. I'm never going to hit the 500, but if I do, yay.
If you win the event, yay.
I'm not going to win the event, but if I do, yay. Shame there's no prize money for this one. But I will be trying my darndest to, get to as many events as possible, because the caliber of players is a lot higher usually, or the attitude of the players is a lot more different. And also I'm just going to try and make sure that, I ask yourself or Sam or Reese or any of the other people that are about, Adam, whatever, to Seb, people like that, to be able to play test, practice and talk me through it. Mm-hmm. I'm not changing from Gardevoir.
No, you stay on Gardevoir. Gardevoir is a great deck for you, considering your second ever regional you nearly day 2'd.
Yeah, I get it. I think I'm solid on Guardi. I know how it works.
You are solid on Guardi, and I think if you said you were going to change from Guardi, I'd probably want to hit you around the head.
I mean, the only thing I would change to at this point is either Zard or Maridon.
Yeah, but I think you wouldn't change to Maridon because you don't like relying on the Vips. The generators.
Ugh, generators. Yeah, they until that supporter comes out that lets me choose the top 2 cards of my deck, no more Vips.
You mean generators?
Yeah. I just did the same thing. So no more generators. I might just play it for fun, because it's a fun deck to play.
Yeah, maybe after Utrecht.
Oh, I'm going to leave that one in. You can have that hiccup as a little bonus.
Wow, thanks.
So I'm gonna have that in place.
Yes.
And then I will see where we get to with everything else.
Yep. No, that sounds solid to me.
And yeah, I'm just going to play a load of games. I'm going to try with Guardi. I don't know how preliminary the preliminary list is, but one of the things, if I was going Vipless, was a lot of people are putting Luminion in.
Yes, just to help with the supporter search.
And I was thinking of just putting the Gallade back in that we've seen, only because it's not on Erica's target. It can't get stuck in the active.
No.
I can get rid of it really easily. Sorry, I don't have to worry about getting rid of it. And I can accelerate energy to this Gallade. And it does 160, moves the energy from it to the Guardi on the bench, the Arcana, or even to the Greninja, so I know I've got it ready to retreat, so I don't need to... Maybe that's a thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then the Buddy Catch is search my deck for a supporter. So I can always find the Iono... Not in there. I can always find the Iono. I can always find the boss. I can find the research if I really need to.
Yep.
Once per turn, rather than having a 2-prize liability on the bench. It does take up a Curlier spot.
It does.
Or a Roltz Candy spot.
It does, but you then have access to whatever you need in your deck.
Yeah, which is kind of nice. I don't know. Maybe we see the Gallade as it's an F, more post-row with the toolbox.
That's what I think. It will be more toolbox post-rotation than now re-rotation.
Maybe the Shining Arcanas literally just swap for the Gallades. And the Gallades go find you the Arvans, and the Arvans find you whatever else you need.
Yeah.
That's a very good possibility. Sure, you lose the refinements from that, and the Shining Arcana lets you draw cards, but this just lets you pick a card out of your deck, which is almost better.
Well, basically pick 3 cards out, because you pick an Arvan out and go for 2 more cards.
Unless you find a Sealstone and there's a V in there as well, and then you find 4... the endless possibilities. So I think we're going to see that. Moonlit Hill, I'm going to experiment with a little bit, just to see if I'm definitely keen on it or not.
Yeah, no, I think that's a smart idea.
We'll see on that. So yeah, prepping for Utrecht is just going to be, I've got my preliminary deck list in. I've built it on live. I'm going to just play it loads on live when I'm in bed doing nothing. Genuinely, just that, even if I'm into stupid decks, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on my lines and see what I can do. And then, obviously, asking yourself and other people to play test with me, just to make sure that I can play it and can have some fun with it and enjoy myself with it. We'll probably be proxying a lot of decks and going from there. And
yep.
Forewarning? No. Just going to say this now. There you go. Thank you very much for the effort and the help you're going to give me to prep. And I'm looking forward to going 09.
I will be following from Monaco to see how you're doing.
Yeah, that's the pressure. It's not having you guys in the building. It's actually that people can just sit and look at pokedata.ovh or Pokestats or whatever and watch me go up and down the rankings.
Yeah.
It's a solo trip for me. I know there are people I know going, but I'm on my own this tournament. I haven't got you or Sam or Adam or anybody to go speak to in between rounds. I'm going to be on my own with a bratwurst.
I mean, I'm sure you'll find Paul or Ethan or someone at some point.
I'll find somebody, yeah.
At some point between rounds, just have a little decompress when you need it, because sometimes those between round decompressings and just talking to your friends is what you need to be able to get out of whatever happened in the round before to move into the next game.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. But
it will be, yeah.
So I'm excited. Obviously, I think next week we haven't obviously got a regional to talk about.
No, we haven't.
So I think we're probably going to do a little bit more of an in-depth dive into the deck.
Yep.
And what...
I think it would be nice to do a little in-depth dive into the deck you're choosing to take and a bit of your insight, because I've played Guardy. I've not played it to a regional. I've played Guardy. It was one of my two that I could have took, but you've played it to a regional and went 5-3, 5-1, 5-2 with it.
Yeah, 5 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. Damn good. If I say so myself.
A damn good showing for your first time playing God of War to a regional.
Yeah. And I love it. I enjoy it, and it's great. So we'll talk more about that next week.
Yes.
And if the response has been good from Hear Me Out, we'll hopefully sort that out. And by next week, we might have even had a cheeky little Lilligant game. I might find space, because sometimes I'll need space for just something a bit silly. So we'll probably find space for that one to be able to play that game and have something a bit silly, which is quite nice.
Something a bit more of a laugh that doesn't mean anything.
Yep, perfect. So only one more thing to say.
Yes, only one more thing.
In case you didn't hear last week, or in case you haven't watched last week's episode, which you should definitely go back and watch episode 2. That was a really good one. It was a rundown of Melbourne, Knoxville, and some other stuff, which is quite cool. But we are doing a giveaway. Now, if you like this video and comment with the words Paldean Fates, feel free to put anything else, as long as it's got the word Paldean Fates in the comment, you stand a chance at being able to win 2 booster bundles from ourselves here at Attach Past. So that is 2 booster bundles. That's 12 booster packs. 2 lots of those 6 booster bundle packs that you are able to win. All you got to do is comment Paldean Fates on this video, like the video, and if you want a second entry, go back to last week's video, like it, comment Paldean Fates. And if you want to help us out, feel free to share it amongst your friends. Show your mum, your nan, your sister, your granddad, your dog, your cat, whatever. Just get them to watch it. It helps. Share that link about. But yeah, we'd like to. I know it's only episode 3.
It is only episode 3.
And we only started the giveaway on episode 2, but they get released on February the 23rd.
Yes, February the 23rd is release date for those boost bundles.
Yep.
So we'll do a little randomisation for who gets that.
Yep. So you'll be able to comment last week, this week, and it will be next week as well.
Yes. So you'll have 3 chances to be able to.
Yep. For terms of legalness and stuff, the 21st of February, which is the Wednesday after next, at 23:59 is the cut-off for comments and things like that. So make sure you commented on that. You'll have 3 videos, 3 potential chances. All will be released on those Wednesdays. And you'll be able to hopefully win yourself some Paldean Fates boosters. It's free shipping and everything in the UK.
Yep.
If you are international, we do ask that you help cover part of the cost of the shipping. But that's something that we can come to and have a chat about if you are an international winner. Sweet. Anything else you'd like to say, Beth?
No, that was everything from me, and a lovely another rundown of another regional, because it'll be a while before we get another one.
Yeah, the next rundown will be Utrecht.
Which will be mostly focused on you because you're attending and playing. So
yeah, we'll probably open with the top 8, unless I'm in the top 8, which I won't be.
But we'll probably, you most likely won't be. But.
We'll probably thanks, Beth. We'll probably open with the top 8 and just do a rundown of everything in the top 8, and then as we usually do, and then the rest of the podcast will be my journey, how my games have gone, who I played, how it went, that sort of stuff. I'm going to keep as much of a note as possible whilst I'm playing. It might help me reflect and maybe win me a couple of games.
Yeah. So. Wait and see. You might be able to remember some little tech cards that people are playing in different matchups, and if you run into it again.
Anyway, yeah, so that's it. This has been Beth. I've been Ben. We've been Attach Pass, a mid-table podcast by mid-table players. Hopefully I'll be more than mid-table in Utrecht, but we'll see. And yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening wherever you are. Remember, you can catch this podcast over on YouTube in a video format. You can also catch it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts in audio format. So pre-save it, get yourself ready for a car journey or a plane journey, or just even sleeping at night. Maybe my dulcet tones help you sleep. Yeah, other than that, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and listening. Take care, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Right. I need a drink.